Hello, class. Welcome to our fifth day of the 5 components of fitness. We've gone over cardiovascular endurance, we've gone over muscular strength, we've gone over muscular endurance, we've also gone over body composition. Okay, and the fifth and the final one is flexibility. Okay, this one is arguably the most important because if we're not flexible, it's going to be very difficult to perform the other three movements, and our body composition will probably not be very good. Okay, so we're going to start with an essential question, and then we're going to do a think, pair, share. Our essential question is, how does movement affect our flexibility? Now, if you don't know, we're going to get with a partner and we're going to talk about it. Again, how does movement affect our flexibility? Okay, so I'm going to give you some time to write about it and think about it. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Very good. Now we're going to get into pairs. So go ahead and get in your groups and talk about how you guys think movement, okay, any type of movement will affect our flexibility. Okay, very good. Now, does anybody have any ideas of how movement will affect flexibility? Yes. Okay, yes, very good. In order to be flexible, we must move. Yes, that's very obvious. Okay, so when we are flexible, we're loose in our muscles and our limbs. Okay, our body is working properly and functioning at maximum capacity. Okay, so one of our key words for the day is movement. In order to be flexible, we must move our body. Okay. And we can do things like walk, we can swim, we can jog, we can bike, okay? Low impact movements, okay, like stretching are very key and important to flexibility, okay? So remember movement, okay? And when our muscles, okay, they are attached to things called ligaments, which attach to our bones, okay? So our ligaments are attached to our muscles and our bone, okay? And if there's anything that's tight in there, within that joint, okay, which is attached to our bone is in that joint, it's going to be very difficult to move, okay? And if there's anything in our muscle that gets tight, then we might have a hurt back, then our glute might be sore, or our hamstring or our quad, and we might feel it, okay? So when we do that, we do something called stretch. Okay, so another key word for this lesson is to stretch. Okay, so stretching will help our movement. It will help us stay loose. Okay, so our third key word will be loose, looseness. Okay, so movement, stretching, and looseness all help us with flexibility. Okay, so if you guys have ever seen a gymnast, they're extremely flexible. Some of them can even put their foot over their head. Which is crazy for me. I cannot do that. But what I'm going to teach you guys today is the world's greatest stretch. Okay, so I learned this while I was in college. And it's a pretty cool move. Well, I had my time playing baseball. We used to do this every single day. And what you do is you're going to get in a low lunge position. I'll show you guys. Okay, you'll get in a low lunge position. Okay, more advanced people will do it with that back leg straight. If it's too hard, we'll have that back leg down, okay? So we'll stand tall here. We'll lunge with our right leg, okay? The next thing we'll do, we'll take our elbow inside of our foot, okay? We want to try and keep our back straight. We don't want to round our back like this, okay? So back straight, elbow inside the foot. This really stretches out the hips, okay? The glutes and the hamstrings, okay? Elbow inside the foot. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to rotate with the same hand towards the foot. So right foot, right hand, we're going to rotate to the sky. Okay? That's called a T-spine rotation. That really helps with our back, opening it up. Okay? Following that, okay, we're going to lean back and we're going to straighten that front leg. Okay? What I want you to do here, again, we're trying to keep our back as straight as possible here. Okay? We're going to try and lean as far down as we can, and we're going to grab that toe. Okay, this is really, really working on our hamstring here. Okay? We're going to start over again. We're going to stand up. Now we're going to do it on the left leg. So again, left leg down. I'm going to do it a little bit more advanced this time. Left elbow inside. Keep that back straight. Turn towards the inside of that knee. And we'll go back down. Okay? That's called the world's greatest stretch. Now, are there any questions with that? Yes? No? Okay. No. So, how does that help us stay loose? Okay? When we're performing any stretching move, we are lengthening and pulling our muscles apart. Okay? There's little mini microfibers in all of our muscles throughout our body. Okay? It doesn't matter which one it is. They're made up of fibers. Okay? And when we work them out, okay, they get tight. So our job is to maintain them and keep them as loose and lax, right? Loose is one of our key words, as possible. Okay, so we're going to pull those muscles whenever we stretch, okay? When we're doing that lunge, we're stretching out our hip, right? And we're opening up, we're really pulling, we're getting that energy out, okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to get back into those pairs that we just had, okay? And we are going to perform that stretch. What you guys are going to do is you're going to perform that stretch 3 times on each leg, okay? Nice and slow. I want you guys to go ahead and start with your knee down. People who can't do it with their knee up, you will not have to do that the second round, okay? So everyone can modify by putting their knee down if they'd like to. As a matter of fact, as a whole class, we're going to start with our knee down, okay? So, world's greatest stretch. You guys are now going to do it with me. Okay, I'd modeled prior to this, but now you're going to get in your pairs. Okay, remember, knee down, okay, inside the elbow, turn, back with the elbow, and then we'll stand up and alternate. Okay, so in your groups, you're going to do that 3 times on each leg. Okay, and then we're going to do a second round where you'll do it with a straight back leg if you can. If you cannot, it's okay to stay with the modification. Okay, we're really going to focus in on pulling and stretching those muscles to stay flexible. Okay, really important 5th piece of that component to fitness. Okay, after we're done in our groups, we're going to get together in our group and we're going to talk about it. We're going to reflect. Okay, so you're going to reflect on how you felt prior to doing the world's greatest stretch, and then you're going to reflect on how you feel after, okay, and if that helped you or not. So after we stretch, we should feel relieved, we should feel a little bit more open in our muscles, we should feel a little bit, remember the key word, what is it? Yes, loose, okay, and be able to move a little bit better than we had previously. So, following the reflection, we're going to get together as a class, okay, and we're going to talk about how we feel, okay? So go ahead and get in your groups, and you can talk about it together, okay? And then following that time, we're going to get the individual groups, okay, and then we'll do our group discussion, okay? So, now that you've already reflected in a group, you're going to reflect with one another individually. You're going to reflect on your own. Okay, so go ahead and think about that. Think about how you felt before. Now think about how you feel after. Okay, and once you're done, about 2 minutes, we will talk about it as a group. Okay, very good, class. Listen up. We are now going to begin our group discussion. I'd like you guys to get in a circle. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do kind of like a popcorn where one person will speak, okay, and then everyone else will wait to be called on by their classmates, okay, and what I'm looking for here, okay, is what you felt, okay, previously. You can comment on what you felt previously, you can comment on a key word, you can comment on if there was a certain part of your body that was tighter than another part, You can also comment on previous knowledge that you had prior to, or maybe you can share a good stretch like the flamingo that you've done, which really focuses on the quad before. Okay, so we're really trying to learn and grow and reflect on just what flexibility is as a whole. Okay, um, reflect on the world's greatest stretch. I just want to hear your guys' input. Okay, so I'll start. When I do the world's greatest stretch, I really feel like my hips open up, and I really feel like my whole body starts to loosen up and get relaxed. So it's my favorite stretch in the world. That's why I didn't actually name it the world's greatest stretch, but that's why I believe it's the world's greatest stretch as well. And I think it's really going to help you guys before you do any sort of activity, like play baseball or go on a walk or do gymnastics or whatever it is that you enjoy doing that is a physical move. Stretching will help, whether it's running too. It's also just good for your health. It's a very important part of feeling good every day, right? Who doesn't want to feel good? Is there anyone here that doesn't want to feel good? Okay, I thought so. But anyways, I just really think it's super important for our health, and I'm looking forward to hear what you guys have to say. Okay, so Johnny, you will go first. You can go ahead and reflect. Okay, good. So I totally understand. There's a lot of people who have very tight hamstrings. It's quite honestly the most, I'd say, the disliked muscle to stretch. People don't like stretching their hamstring very much, and the hamstring is the one right here in the back of your leg. And the thing is the hamstring is connected to our glute, which is our butt muscle. And if the hamstring is tight, which makes the glute tight, that goes all the way up to our back, which may be causing the lower back pain that you may have. So it's really important that you understand that if one thing is tight, that may run up your whole body because they're all connected in some way or another. Very good, Johnny. Who's next? Okay, Rachel. How do you feel? So good, very good. So you felt like your quad was a little bit tighter, even though none of those stretches in the world's greatest stretch specifically targeted the quad, which is in the front of the leg here. You felt like it's a little bit looser because it was tight yesterday from soccer practice. Excellent. So when we're stretching at all, we begin to get the blood flowing a little bit quicker as our heart starts to pump faster, which also starts the recovery process of all of our muscles. Very good. Rachel, who's next? Okay, Monica? All right. Let's hear it. Okay. Very good. Very, very good. Excellent. So, Monica really liked the world's greatest stretch, but her favorite stretch, because she has tight hips, is one that we call the fence walkover, and she wanted to share it with the class. Rather than having her demonstrate, I'll demonstrate for us right now. So what we do here, there's two ways to do this. This is very good to open up our hips. We're going to lift our knee up, very good, and then we're going to take our knee out with our foot stand over our knee, just like we're stepping over like a little mini fence. Okay, so we can do that backwards, or we can do it the opposite way and step over with that knee over and that foot over forwards, and that really focuses on those hips. Okay, thank you, Monica. I really appreciate you sharing that with the class. Okay, last one of the day. Peter, how'd you feel? Comment on any of the essential words of the day, what you liked about our station work, what you didn't. Okay, thank you, Peter. Okay, totally makes sense. So, he commented on looseness. Okay, looseness is essential to feeling good. He said that really stuck with him, and it's something that he's going to take with the rest of our life. So I want to share a story. There's a Navy SEAL. His name is David Goggins. Okay, he's a Navy SEAL. He's also the only person to also be an Army Ranger, which is the highest level in the Army. He was also I can't remember what it is, but he did something in the Air Force. So he was in 3 special operations units in the military. Only guy in history to do this. And in his book, he mentioned that he could run 100 miles. Okay, and obviously he didn't feel very good. He was very tight everywhere. And as he got older, he began to realize that he didn't feel very good. And he finally found the solution to what made him feel good every day, and that was stretching, which is another key word, right? So he began a stretching routine where he would stretch for 30 minutes a day. And he said he'd never felt so good in his life. And that was at 40 years old. Okay? And that comes from a man who was in the Navy SEALs in prime condition, an Army Ranger in the Air Force, and has run multiple 100-mile races. So I highly recommend us continuing to learn about flexibility and stretching and incorporating that into our daily routine. We'll definitely do this every single day in class, and I look forward to continuing this learning process on the 5 components of fitness. So thank you so much for a great day in class. Take care, guys.